Welcome in, come meet my Bristol bro. Anything from this to that, my Bristol bro. So nice to introduce my Bristol bro. Anyone from him to her, my Bristol bro. Work with these hands, you see this hard form. Say with your chest, my pen is hardcore. Even at my desk, feel like a star-lord. And it shows how much we give it all for. Now it's time to give them all an encore. Till it's back to the drawing. Welcome in, come meet my Bristol bro. Anything from this to that, my Bristol bro. So nice to introduce my Bristol bro. Anyone from him to her, my Bristol bro.
Welcome in, everybody. It is Tuesday, which means you are hanging out with your Bristol bros, Sam and James. What's up, Sam?
I can't. Every time
just
he
can't
uses a
even.
song,
We're
it's
gonna have
so
Chris
obnoxious.
Voigt on it. Chris is gonna vote on it. He's gonna tell us how much he loved it. And so
Besides that,
far, we're 100% on the guests liking it, and then it's just wearing thin on you. So
that's true. I have yet anybody to say they
especially that
disliked it.
last line, that last little chorus. You love that part. The what?
But to be
what?
fair, they don't have to hear it every week like I do. So
That's the thing, right?
you know,
Well, you're coming to us from the Pink Studio.
mhm.
How have things been going? Have you been working your butt off still behind the scenes?
Move that over a little. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I got 5 pages done for White Line 3 already.
Nice.
If you are a member on my Patreon, probably tomorrow I'm gonna get those pages put up on there so everybody can see those.
Little sneak preview.
Yeah, and then I got paid out from Kickstarter Friday, and it started pinning in my account yesterday. So I would assume probably at some point tomorrow it's gonna drop into my accounts, and then as soon as I got that money and it's posted, I'm gonna be sending a White Line 2 off to the printer.
And I'm
then
assuming you got it all set up and ready to go for that.
Oh yeah, it's already 100%
Sweet.
done. So it's going straight to the printer, and then when I get it back, I'm gonna be mailing out everybody's stuff. And then number 3, the final issue of the series is gonna be campaign's gonna be launching late fall, and then I have another Kickstarter that I'm doing with a couple of buddies early next year as well. So got a couple Kickstarters coming up here in the near future.
So the hits just keep on coming. You're
Yeah,
not
dude,
slacking. It's one project after the other, along with all the secret ones I'm already aware of.
Yeah, the project that I'm working on with a couple of buddies, I'm super excited with. Like that's gonna honestly be way bigger than what we anticipate. I feel.
Nice.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's check in with the chat here real quick before we bring our guest on. I said, "Where are you at, Yev?" And he is here. He says, "I'm here, guys." He told me he was going to be watching the Bristol Bros while he's inking tonight.
Thanks, Yev.
We got our buddy Squid Marks in here. Hello, fellas. We got Sarcat says hi. Hi, Sarcat. We got our buddy Mr. Dan Goodwin Art. He says, "Hey, everyone. What's up, Dan?" And Mark says, "Whoop, whoop. Gonna get my Johnny Ryan cover."
Yeah, and
Nice.
me and Johnny are spitballing back and forth next year, so keep your eyes peeled, folks. I'll say that.
18 plus for sure.
Yeah, we'll see if Kickstarter even allows it. We'll see.
Awesome, man. Well, why don't you introduce everybody to our guest, and I will bring him to the stage.
Yeah, so tonight I guess we have friend of the show Chris Anderson on. Hell of a cartoonist, first and foremost. CEO of Pulp. They're indie, I don't know, like co-op sort of distributor sort of thing. Jim Rugg, Rick Lopez, a bunch of different people are all underneath that label. They're doing great things in comics. So I had met Chris, I want to say it was like at an IC3 meeting, possibly is the first time that I met him. And then
Nice.
we started chatting back and forth at Heroes and we hit it off. So why not get him on and have him promote some comics and talk masters of the universe, you know?
Yeah, so here we are.
Yeah.
Mr. Chris Anderson is with us. What's up,
up?
Chris?
Why not have me on? Why not?
Why not? Welcome to the show, buddy. How
Hey,
you doing
thank
tonight?
you. I'm doing all right. Hey, everybody out there on your
Ooh.
phones and
Extreme close up.
wherever the heck you are watching this from.
Well, it's good to get you in here. Are you it looks like it's still light there. So are you on the West Coast,
Yeah,
Midwest?
I'm in
you
Los
at?
Angeles. You
Okay,
can see Universal Studios right outside my window.
Oh, there you go. I'm up in Washington State, so fellow West Coaster here.
Nice. Very nice.
Not so late in the day for us, but Sam, he doesn't sleep anyway, so it doesn't really matter to him that it's, a little later where he is.
Cartoonists can't sleep. It's demanding.
Yeah. I think creatives tend to be a little more of the night owl types. At least I put myself in that category. I feel like I'm the most creative in the evening. So for me, it's like baseline bedtime as early as like 1:30.
Yeah. I mean, I do this for a living, so I try to stick to a schedule where I make sure that I'm up by 8 and at the desk by 9, and I have alarms set all day for make sure you get up and take a break so you don't die.
Yeah.
But and then I last month I had to do an insane schedule just in order to make it to Heroes in time, because I had 2 books that overlapped at the same time. And it was like a week of 3 hours of sleep a night, and I just can't do that shit anymore. Maybe when I was 25 or something like that, but not anymore.
Sam can still do it.
It's brutal.
I can't. Yeah. Anything less than 6 hours sleep, I'm wrecked the rest of the day.
Yeah, I slept 3 hours the other day. And Alice, my girlfriend, was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah, by the time I got to Heroes, I felt like I was vibrating on another level. Like I could look into another dimension. I swear to God, it was not good.
I mean, that's what happens though. It's I'll be in here just drawing, and then you it's I'm sure you guys get it too. But you get in the zone, and it's just you're just in a different universe, and time doesn't exist. And you look at the clock, and you're like, "Oh my God, 6 hours just went by, and I haven't ate. I haven't breathed at all."
That's what they call the flow state, right? Yep. You get in there and just lose yourself.
I mean, I swear I was 20 yesterday. I'm always in the flow state.
Weren't we all?
Yeah.
Time is a cruel mistress.
Sure is, man.
Oh, we got Kenneth says, "What in the name of Robert Redford is going on here?"
Also
talking comics, man. Talking comics and art. We got the man, Chuck Maxwell's daddy, Mr. Brandon Paul, says, "Hey dudes." What's up, Brandon?
Hey dude.
Brandon's awesome, man. When's Chuck 2 coming out, Brandon? Come on, man.
Yeah, you were supposed to have it done at IC3. Where's it at?
Yeah.
Squidmarks wins for the best name handle though. That's a great one. I love that one.
Yeah, he says, "Since having kids, I'm a morning creative person."
Yeah, that makes sense.
No choice. Yeah,
Squidmarks is a good buddy of the show, Mark Unterberger. He's a special effects supervisor up in Canada. Dude can also draw his ass off. He did that shark right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love that
the
drawing.
Full screen. Yeah, that one's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. You gave me that book, and I immediately was just staring at that for 20 minutes after you left.
Okay, awesome. Brandon says inks are almost done. Kids get in the way of production. There you go.
So as a fellow Motu guy, I got to know who are your favorites?
Oh man, who are my favorites? I'm a classic OG Motu guy. I think the original lineup of villains is my favorite, with probably Merman, the toy version of Merman, being my favorite, because he was just so creepy looking, and that stare was psychotic, and those little tiny teeth. And I think that I brought that aesthetic over into my own artwork, and not even realize it. I loved it so much. But Trapjaw and Triclops and Beastman and Skeletor, and the good guys were fine, but you know, the villains were where it was at. Even though you didn't wanna play as the villains back then. Unlike, I think something shifted at some point with generationally. When I used to be a teacher, the like later Star Wars movies would come out, and I noticed the kids kind of all of a sudden being like, "I want to be Darth Vader," and I was like, "God, when I was growing up, we would never say we want to be Darth Vader," you know?
Yeah, everybody wanted to be Luke or Han.
Yeah, but the villains always look cooler.
Yeah,
you know, and those the Motu designs are amazing. And you know, I got to appreciate like later ones that I didn't have as a kid to play with later, when I sort of did this like book of like 75 characters in my style, just as a kind of an exercise in speed drawing. And the designs in Motu are amazing. But you know, like I always preferred like the look of the Vipers in G.I. Joe too. It's like, I don't know, they're just way cooler looking. But
so I gotta ask, I know quite a few Master of the Universe hardcores that enjoyed the new movie.
Mhm.
What camp do you lie in with that?
I went in ready to absolutely hate it. And
I went in with super low expectations.
And
Yeah.
so I think going in that way, I was quite happy when I left.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever get another one.
Yeah,
you know,
sadly, yeah.
but
It's so horribly, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is like, people always talk about like, I have, obviously people know that I'm a huge fan of the franchise and the property, and they come to me and say, "Oh God, that, you know, like the Kevin Smith cartoon was so terrible," and I'm like, you know, that's not my Masters Universe. And I'm always like, well, that's not your Masters of the Universe. It's somebody else's Masters of the Universe.
Right.
It's okay. And the whole thing that's great about that property, to me anyway, is that it started as a toy where you told your own stories. So like, there should be different versions of it all the time for different people, and just like keep that rolling. Get you know, the original books, he was a barbarian in the jungle. He wasn't Prince Adam and all that stuff, and that's awesome. And you know, I don't know that it's better or not, but like the cartoon wasn't that great. But I'm glad that we got it, and it was a great commercial for toys for forever. But like, you know, my favorite Masters of the Universe is the one that's in my head.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, that's why I made, when I decided to start writing for myself, the first thing that I did was go back to when I was a kid and playing with those toys and making up stories, and kind of went back to the joy that I had as a kid, and just had fun writing and used those characters and made some bootleg comics and stuff like that. So, you know, like the movie, it's not for everybody, and maybe you liked it, maybe you didn't, but there's plenty of new people that are now into it that weren't before, and that's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It became a gateway thing. Anything that gets people more into this stuff, I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of like, you know, there's a mixed opinion on Absolute Batman, but I think the cool thing about it is getting new comics readers in, and getting people that weren't previously into reading comics into the shops and everything.
Yeah, I mean, we need more people reading comics that don't look like us. You know what I mean? In all ways, age-wise, and you know, demographically, everything. Anything to inject new readership into the art form that we love so much. Like, I'm all for it. So
yeah.
With you having, I guess, such like a landmark with like Masters of the Universe or anything, have you ever went down a road of maybe like trying to reach out to like Mattel and design characters or anything like that?
Yeah, I seem to be inching closer and closer and closer over the last few years to actually getting to do an official comic. I never reached out to him to do designs or anything like that, but Tim Seeley has written, you know, most of the Motu comics for the God, I don't even know, like the last 20 years, I want to say,
Yeah.
like maybe. And he's a friend of mine. I owe a huge part of my career to him, actually. And he's been trying to get me to be able to do a thing, but it was always a thing where like Mattel wouldn't work with you until you wouldn't put an artist on it unless they had worked with them before. So it was a catch-22 kind of thing. Like, how do you work for Mattel in order to get in the, I don't know, it was just a kind of a crazy thing. And then it became, well, Dark Horse wants to just work with artists that they, you know, have had a track record with. Well, now I'm working with Dark Horse. So it's looking closer and closer, like I'll get to
That's
do
awesome,
it.
man.
I'm sure that something will happen and the rug will be pulled out, but it's getting closer. You know,
Again, go in with a minimal expectation and maybe be pleasantly surprised.
that
right?
is and I
Yeah.
find that to be the best policy.
Say expect the worst and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Our buddy Brandon Paul says, I remember one of my professors at animation school telling me something to the effect of movies and TV shows exist to sell toys. So make sure your characters look cool.
I mean, make sure they look cool anyway.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Why would you make them look lame?
Yeah, for sure.
And then I guess with Masters of the Universe, one of the things that I wanted to say that I guess has a lot of comics crossover that a lot of people don't talk about is like those toys came with mini comics.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
You know, so it's like that's one of the things I guess to me because you know, I'm 33, so it's like I completely missed Masters of the Universe growing up. Like I'm just not of
Yeah.
that generation. You know, I had like Street Sharks and
Yeah.
late Turtles and things like that. But then the last like 5-6 years or so, I really started paying attention to Masters of the Universe because I was like, what, these character designs are just out crazy, first of all.
Yeah.
But dude, like the art on like the packaging is fucking nuts. It's like Frazetta style stuff. Like it's incredible.
Yeah. Definitely inspired by Frazetta. In fact, Mark Texiera drew some of those very first Masters of the Universe comics that came with the toys. I actually got him to where is it? I just took it down off the wall the other day. I actually got him to do a drawing of Skeletor for me for my little Masters of the Universe wall of commissions that I have here, which is pretty awesome.
I was gonna say a Tex Skeletor has to be pretty friggin' cool.
Yeah, because you know his Ghost Rider was just like
Yeah.
That is Ghost Rider to me.
Yes.
And so yeah, it was really cool. And then yeah, those mini comics where I think in fact I was just at Target the other day like checking out the toys because you know what are you gonna do? Wife's looking for clothes, I go to look for and the new ones still come with little mini comics, which is great. And I'm actually there's a Kickstarter that's coming out pretty soon from a company called Wandering Planet that's doing this toy line of like alien toys. And they just hired me to do an 8-page mini comic that'll go in the packaging with those too. So that was kind of fun to do. Like even if it's not Masters of the Universe, at least it's some sort of mini comic that's gonna go in a toy. You know.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Like to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know if they've ever collected like those comics, those mini comics?
Yeah.
Like an edition?
Yeah. Here, hang on.
Says, look at this. It's
I have
right on
like
the
20
shelf.
of them over here on my shelf. I was trying to grab it. They're kind of buried. So
You need to, yeah, there
Boom.
we go.
Right there.
that is amazing. I did not know that it existed. I have a couple of those, but I have like toy guides that Dark Horse put out.
Yeah, this is part of that whole series. It's just like small.
Gotcha.
It's like a brick. It's like a
That is
cinder
amazing.
block.
It really is. I mean, this thing, like you could curl this thing. And,
You could look like He-Man if you lifted that, 30 times a day.
Yeah, seriously.
That's awesome. That's cool that they did that.
Whoop.
Let's see. Dan says, one of my favorite pieces I ever did is a Trapjaw piece. I love those character designs.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Yeah, Dan Goodwin Trapjaw has to be pretty friggin' awesome looking. You're gonna have to. Is that on your Instagram, Dan? You're gonna have to go check that out.
So just out of, I guess, curiosity with you being involved with Power Pulp and everything, how have you guys found like Power Pulp in terms of like making a footprint and in like comic book stores?
It's
Uh-oh.
been
Oh,
it's
okay. He froze for a second. I was
oh,
worried. I'm like, either he's really good at staying still or he's frozen. All right, we're good.
both.
Both.
You know, at the very beginning, it was a little bit tough to get the ball rolling and get into the stores and stuff like that. But it's been 1 year now, and we've been really picking up steam. A lot more stores are picking us up. And so, yeah, in the very beginning, it was a little tough, especially when we were made mostly of people who are sort of lesser known. But as soon as, you know, bigger names started coming, stores really started to pay attention. And then I went to Comics Pro this year too, and which is the retailer convention that happens every year. And I talked to retailers of all stripes. There's definitely many different kinds of retailers out there. I was really, it didn't take a whole lot for me to be one-on-one with them and convince them to order Pulp books. And so from that, we got a lot too. And just, you know, it seems like almost every week another store is signing up. And then those and placing orders. And then those stores that place orders once, it seems like maybe 2 weeks later they're placing another one because they sold out, you know. So like we're really proving that the self-published comic market is something that the readers are hungry for, and it's been it's been way more successful than I ever, you know, dreamed that it would be, and it's just growing from there. You know, in fact, it grew too much almost the first year. So we had to put a little pause on some things so we could like recalibrate and focus.
How
Do
did
you find? Go ahead.
I was gonna step on your toes, Sam.
You
How
son
did
of a bitch.
Power Pulp come to be?
There was sort of just something in the air, I think, at this certain point. My partners, the founding partners with myself, are James and John Coates and Jamie Jones. And I had a YouTube channel, and so I was talking to them. They happened to be guests on the show around the same time, and I kind of brought up that I had this idea for creating. Diamond was still a thing back then, and in order to get into Diamond, you couldn't be just one self-publisher putting out your own books at random times. You had to have a schedule, and you had to publish more than just one creator. And so I had the idea to kind of create an umbrella, like a fake publisher that we could go under to get our stuff listed, because I had all these books in my closet from a book that I did, and like a water leak destroyed half of them. And I was so bummed, and I was like, you know, there's got to be another way for me to get these books out to people than just conventions and hitting Instagram hard to drive people to my website. And I knew that my own habits, if I go into a shop and I see an interesting looking book on the shelf, I might not grab it that time. But if I go into the same shop or a different shop and I see that book again and it still grabs my attention, I grab it. And so I knew that was a huge missing component from the self-publishing world. And by banding together, I kind of knew that like we would be able to at least get into some sort of distributor. And as the four of us would meet, gosh, like, I don't know, at least once a week, and try to really break it and say like, why isn't this a good idea? You know, more than anything. And, you know, we got to a point where we were like, this is a great idea. And then Diamond fell apart, and then we had to pivot and figure out how to distribute these things ourselves. And so far, so good. It's been working really great. You know, a year into it, we've learned a lot of lessons. There's still a lot to learn, but we also did a lot of stuff right. And we'll continue to try to do that. And, you know, raise awareness of everybody that makes self-published comics, not just ourselves either, you know. So
We got a question for you from Squid Marks here. He says, how far out has Power Pulp gotten the comics? Are you getting stuff into Canada, Europe, and overseas? Must be a challenge with all the US tariff shenanigans.
yeah, they're definitely that definitely is an issue, or has been an issue. But you know, we work with the shops in different countries all the time to figure out like how we can get it to them, and if they're willing to pay for it. Like there are 2 shops that we have in Australia. You know, shipping to Australia is ridiculous, but they'll place like $800 orders at a time so that it makes sense for them. And in Canada, there's other ways to do it, and you know, we've got some other European shops that we're in as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure if these tariffs and all this BS wasn't insane the way that it is, we'd be in a lot more. But you know, it is what it is. We're just gonna have to ride it out for now.
And then I guess the follow-up that I had for you before James really interrupted me.
That's so rude.
With you getting, I guess, with shops reoccurring orders with you, are you finding that they're ordering different books, or like more or less like the same book that they ordered previously?
Well, if they ran out of books real fast, they order those again. They ordered some of those again, probably not as many as they did before, but then yeah, they definitely are ordering other books too. That's another thing that's great. And you know, I want to emphasize that it's not just about getting the books into shops. It's about getting the books into readers' hands, period. So you know, there's plenty of places where there's kind of comic shop deserts. So I think we kind of want to push the fact that individuals can and should place orders through Power Pulp too. But I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought here. What was your question again?
It was just more like, are you finding that stores are kind of branching out with their orders?
Yeah. They are. I mean, they're ordering. Like I said, they're ordering the same things sometimes, but then they're picking up things, and then you'll get collateral sales too. So maybe you're a creator that's with us that isn't as huge of a name as some of the other ones that shops will, you know, no brainer order. In order to get at $200, there's free shipping. So in order to get there, sometimes they'll just kind of like say, oh, what else we got here? And they'll pick up a few other things, and then those sell, and then they come back and they buy those. So buy more of those. So, you know, it's raising sales for everybody this way.
How do you guys curate your talent? Are you reaching out to creators to have them be part of publishing with you guys, or does it generally work? People are submitting to you and getting in that way?
It's a little bit of both. We for the first year, we had sort of an open call for people to submit.
Squid Marks just stole my question out of my brain. Great minds think alike, Mark.
Yeah. And so, and we just got so many, like there was no way to bring everybody in. We just couldn't. So we tried to like quarterly bring in like a certain amount and see how many we could handle in the warehouse and with the space that we had. And it got to sort of a point where we have enough creators at this point right now with what we can handle, to where the creators that we have are putting out new books too. So there's always new books coming in
right
all the time, and the space just isn't there yet. It's going to take a little while to build up the capital to be able to expand that, and then we'll open it up again. So right now it's basically us sort of figuring out how many more creators we can take on in a year, and then reaching out to people. But what I also want to say is that we have like a community Discord also that kind of is doing its own thing over there, and I love it that people are just having these conversations all the time and stuff. And so I had reached out recently to have people sort of send me their PDFs of their self-published work, because just because we can't take you on right now doesn't mean we won't necessarily in the future when we open it back up. But I also, once we get our YouTube channel working again, I want to do like a mailbag episode sort of thing where we can drive viewers towards other creators' work, and in that way you might not be a part of Power Pulp, but Power Pulp can still help you, get some recognition and help you sell your books.
Mark wants to know, are there any specific things that you're looking for in regard to the creators?
No, just really, really great work, and know that you're in it for the long haul. We don't want anybody who's just like doing a cash grab or thinking they're doing a cash grab. This comics isn't, there's no such thing as a cash grab in comics, really.
Brandon Paul says his ears just perked up.
And like people who have a variety of books out. It's kind of all over the place. When we did the voting, it was really about the group as a whole voting to see, and we would see which ones rise to the top, and that was just quiet, silently each person's tastes. And now it's sort of like we can see who is putting out stuff that would possibly benefit Power Pulp at the point that it's in right now, where we need to sort of sell books and so we can rebuild and expand, and then sort of reaching out to the people like that, like Ryan Heschke, I think, is about to join us, which would be great because his books are just incredible and really, really sought after. And so I think that'll be a big bump for Power Pulp, and hopefully for Ryan as well. So
very cool.
With the material that you guys offer with, because it's all over the place, very similar to like Cosmic Line. Eli is also a friend of the show.
Yeah.
And I had a very similar question to Eli, so I'm kind of curious with you, where do you draw a red line with what you're willing to carry and what you're not? And what I always say is because some people be like, Johnny Ryan stuff's okay, but as soon as you start leaning into that Tim Vigil, Faust sort of area, that's too much and too far for some people. So I was kind of curious, where your line was for accepting sort of material.
Eli's line was Faust.
Eli's line was Faust.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, Faust is of a different time too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So hopefully people are smart enough to not be making books like that. But 2026, who the hell knows?
Mm-hmm.
I like to think, and I hope, because we've created this thing that is what I hope to be fully democratic, is that we've got a lot of different kinds of voices in the group already, to where if something goes up for a vote and someone is really, really like, we cannot have this, that they will speak up. And it won't get voted in. So that's sort of where the line is for us. It's just sort of like, maybe it's not my taste, but it's somebody else's, or the whole of the group. And we've got, people of all stripes chiming in. And if somebody really, really is like, no, this cannot happen, then, we'll take a look at that and be like, yeah, you're right. It's absolutely right. So, I would put it at like Faust kind of stuff too, but there's a chance, because I really didn't want it to be up to us. I wanted it up to an individual. I wanted it to be up to the group as a whole. We got to have some form of democracy in this world, right? So
Dan Goodwin says a functioning democracy.
Yeah. That's really the long and short of how things are decided.
Does it have to be like a majority vote, or how do you guys do that? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. We've got some there's some websites where you can create like polls, and
Mm-hmm.
the whatever rises to the top it'll show you. Now it takes everybody to vote, and not everybody doesn't always do it. You need 100% participation, but we've got 60 creators now, so it's like people are going to do what they're going to do.
True.
You can't force people to vote.
No.
And that's with you guys having 60 creators, that is a lot of people to manage and juggle. I was kind of curious, like, how the hell you're managing time and just like the distribution in general. Like, are the cartoonists getting their books printed and then shipping them to you like in an allotment? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, every cartoonist is their own business. So, and they're free to do whatever they want. And once they're in, they can put in whatever books they want. The cartoonists we have, the Coates are the ones that do all the shipping. They kind of live near each other and are able to like get together on the weekend and do all that stuff. So we just have the books sent to the warehouse near them, and then they ship it out. So anytime a book is ready, and then we have like, to get into the weeds about it, but everybody's
that's why we're here.
Yeah, everybody's got like everybody has a file, like a Google Doc or a Google Drive file with their name on it, and then they pop the PDF of the book and the cover and a couple pages and the synopsis and all the information that we need, so that when they send the books to the warehouse and they get there, John is able to go and put them onto the site, and when Matt King goes to post about it on Instagram, he runs that stuff. He's able to access it too. And when I do I send out every 2 weeks, I send out a email to past customers and shops, and so I'm able to access all of that stuff. So it's just sort of using technology to our benefit, and we're still figuring that out. There's another thing too, where because this is, we're all over the place, and even in other countries, there's a couple creators in the UK and Amsterdam, like all over the place. It can start to feel like less of a collective, like there's not much of a community, and so like we keep trying to do different things to see what sticks and what makes it work. And so we're constantly evolving all that stuff and trying to figure it out. And we have like meetings, and we have subgroups for people who are really good at PR and people who are really good at design and people who are really good at this and that. And then we can call upon each other at any time if we have a question about anything. We're all available to each other, which is a great resource.
Yevgeny says, I'm in the US, just saying. There you go, Yev.
And I guess when you guys are bringing cartoonists on to join, are you, like, I would assume that the deals are all individualized or completely separate from person to person, but are you finding yourselves like are you picking up like individual books, or are you like signing on somebody to be like, hey, we're going to carry X amount of books at your release, throughout 2 years or whatever?
No, once they're in, they can bring whatever they want to us. Like, like Alex Delaney, for example, has books that Floating World publishes, and Floating World was totally cool with him selling his copies on the site. So those books are up on the site too. Once you're in, you can put as many or as little amount of books as you want. It's really, it's not loosey goosey, that it's very open, like, to do whatever you want, and you're free to come and go. You don't have to sign anything. You say you're in, and then you're in. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be hard, like that difficult, because Power Pulp has no rights to your books. You can take them and do whatever you want with them. If you decide that it isn't working for you, you can take them somewhere else, and that's it.
Dan says
getting paperwork or lawyers involved.
Dan says there's no contract to produce more.
Yeah, you just you are your own. It's just an infrastructure for self-publishers to be able to work together to amplify each other and get the books into readers' hands.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Very unique.
Oh, did we lose him again? No, he's
No,
blinking.
he's still there.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just a very still.
One
He's
of
a very
the
still
things
human.
that I wanted to ask you a while back, I think we were just kind of commenting back and forth on Discord, but American Caper had come out at the time, and I had asked you what it was like working with, I think Dan Hauser, right, was the writer on that one.
Yeah, Dan Hauser and Laszlo.
And
yeah,
I was curious, like how that relationship was, because obviously he's from Rockstar, wrote the GTA games and all that kind of stuff. And at the time, you're like, I don't know, but I'm going out to lunch with them or dinner with them tonight or something like that. So I was kind of curious, how that relationship was like.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know if it's part of the fact that I've been in Los Angeles for 30 years to where like if I meet a celebrity, it like they have go through the same shit that I do. There's people I just happen to know their name before they know mine. And I'm not a gamer really. And I although oddly enough, Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption were two games that I did play. Going and getting to, I talked to Laszlo more than I talked to Dan.
Mm-hmm.
I only got to actually meet Dan one time. That one time that I went over to their office and talked to them and stuff and hung out. And so it wasn't really a huge deal to me. It was just a bunch of guys talking craft and about the work that we're doing and other things like that. It was just a regular conversation. So it's great. It's great to work with them. I mean, I'm learning a lot, especially about writing and things like that. D&D is a game. You're right, Squidmark. But especially how to handle like such a massive cast. This book, American Caper's got a huge cast of characters, but it doesn't feel like it. You don't get overwhelmed or lost as a reader with it. It flows very, very well. And then David Lapham does layouts for it, and so on that side of things, David is David's one of the masters of the craft and one of the best storytellers that we have. And so he is able to sort of chime in, and Shelley Bond, who's also a Pulp member, they all four of them kind of took the script that they had already and beat it into shape for comics, because it was supposed to be a radio drama, and they decided that they were going to turn it into a comic instead. So that's where we went with it, and so glad that they did, because it's one of the best experiences of my life. Actually, I feel like I've grown just like so much in the last year. Drawing like 26 to 30 pages every single month for a year straight will cause growth whether you want to or not. You pick up things through osmosis.
Yeah. What comics are you picking up these days? Are you finding yourself with an eclectic mix? Are you just working all the time? Too much going on to still be looking at comics? What are you doing?
No. I mean, I still look at comics. I look at comics like every night before I go to bed. I don't pick up a lot of contemporary comics. I keep my finger on the pulse of everything, and I know what's going on. But I took a deep dive into Golden Age stuff recently, and I can't seem to shake it. Yeah. And it's not because, well, first of all, I really like the fact that these books come from the very beginning of comics, when nobody really knew what they were supposed to be yet. It didn't figure itself out yet. And a lot of the stories are just really strange. I think they just had to knock them out so fast. And there were the tropes weren't totally established yet. And everything from, romance to detective to superheroes, to funny animals, it's all got some just bizarre stuff. And then things pop up just because of the time period that it was in, where you're like, holy crap, you could never do that now, nor would you want to. Mm-hmm. But you sort of absorb the reasons why. And so the thing for me is I get inspired by them, not because they're good, but because my brain kind of starts to go and say to itself, this is what I want them to be. And then I can go and make my own books, like, you know, in that direction. So I'm inspired by the quirkiness of the original comics. And, you know, there's plenty of websites where you can download a lot of Golden Age stuff for free because it's public domain.
Yeah.
And so, like, my iPad is full of, I don't know, 8,000 free comics.
Yeah.
But I started, like, I was like, I don't need to buy comics anymore from this period, especially from this period, because they're like $1,000 each, you know, if you're lucky. And god damn, of course, I was like, oh, but I need this one. I need this one. I need to find this one. I have to find this one. Like, you start turning into like Gollum, you know, like that old collector of sensibility when you were a kid starts kicking back. And I've been able to find some really, really ratty falling apart copies, and I've been loving those. So that's where I've been at. Although, and then I, you know, usually pick up stuff that friends are putting out and stuff like that, or if I hear that something is just absolutely amazing and I have to check it out, then I'll go and grab it.
I see Toth written on that piece of paper to your left. Who are some of your biggest artistic icons that you always find yourself going back to and looking at their work?
Sergio Topi a lot. His work is very textural, and that's kind of where looking at his work is kind of gave me permission to do that. Although it's taken many years to learn how to do that properly so that it doesn't muddy everything up. Toth is great for storytelling and economy of line, but if you've ever seen my work, there is no such thing as economy of line. I am all detail. But you know, storytelling wise, I go back to you know, Mazzucchelli, and I look at like Paul Grist for storytelling, and Atmosphere from Mignola. Nobody does Atmosphere better than him. And contemporary wise, like Jesse Lonergan's like one of the most exciting creators going right now, who's just sort of, you know, molding a new way to tell stories. You can't do what he's doing because then you're doing him, which you don't want to do that. That's how we end up with 700 Liefeld clones.
Yeah.
But you know, it's good to look at his work and get inspired by it, and then consider it, and then go your own direction of like maybe pushing the limits with storytelling. Can't do exactly what he's doing or what any of these people are doing, but I don't know. It's storytelling and visual storytelling. I just think about it all day long, all the time. And
yeah,
you know.
Mark wants to know anything exciting planned or looking forward to at San Diego Comic-Con.
I mean, I'm looking forward to the things that I will be there specifically for, which is I've got some press junkets for American Caper and a signing for that. And then also, I think tomorrow, Dread the Hall H #2 comes out, which I have some work in that. And so we're going to have a big panel for that. That one always packs them in. Other than that, what am I looking forward to? Just running into friends. I've got some meetings with some editors, so hoping to drum up some work, because it's time to look for some new work for me. On top of the stuff that I do myself, I always have to have the work that I'm doing myself and something that I'm doing where I'm getting paid from a publisher. You know, that's
smart man.
Not that the stuff that I'm doing myself doesn't get me paid. That sounded wrong. It does work, but I like to keep my foot in both worlds. Let's just say, and I always just love to go and look at like thumb through the original art that's around and look, and go into it's not just Artist Alley anymore. It's like all over the place. Exhibitors that are cartoonists that I maybe had never heard of before, and I like discovering new cartoonists that are coming up. Is you dive into this world of indie and self-published cartoonists, and you think you know everybody, but you don't know. There's
That's
blind
crazy.
spots that you just have missed for some reason, of stuff that you will love. You just got to keep going and going back and finding these folks, so
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed the further along I get in my comics careers is like the comics world is so small, but it's also extremely vast at the same time. It's like everybody knows each other, but there's all like these little weird communities of like pockets of people that hang around each other. So it's like very closed off at the same time. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a very
we got
strange thing.
our guy Brunson's in
Brunson?
here. What's up, Brunson? Awesome.
And then one of the things that I did want to talk about that I guess I'm pretty excited about because I've seen it, I'm a fan of it, but you're going to be I guess releasing and collecting up all of the stuff that you had done in heavy metal in the past, and you're going to be putting that out on Kickstarter.
Yeah. So I think September 7th, I think I'm gonna officially launch it. I don't have a notify me page up yet, but I plan on getting that up soon as well. But yeah, I had a contract with Heavy Metal to do. I had done a bunch of work with them and done like one-shot stories, like 12-page stories and stuff like that. And then I'd worked out a deal to do 12 issues with eight-page stories in it, and we only got like 2/3 of the way through before they kind of collapsed. And they've since come back, but when they did collapse, I was able to get the rights back to that. And so I'm going to Eli started serializing the same story in Lion Cosmique, which was great. He's still doing it. And then by the time I'm ready to launch this Kickstarter for the first issue of 3 that I'll be doing, it's a book called Something Seems Off. We'll have gotten through like pretty much the first issue that will be released, but we're going to stop before we get to the end. Yeah, there we go. That's the first. I think that's the first story. Yeah, from it.
Draw your ass off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a compliment.
if you're gonna do heavy metal, you got to do heavy metal.
Oh yeah.
Dude, look at that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So so I'm gonna release it in three issues, 3 like 36-page or 42-page issues. So I've got just like for the last issue, I've got a few pages to draw, and that's it. But it's pretty much wrapped up. And then in between that, what I'm going to do is work on Three-Headed Pigman, which is my other book that I'm getting back to be able to work on again. And that'll start to be released first on my Patreon. And so people who are pay for a subscription to my Patreon will be able to start to read that as I'm making it, depending on the different levels. And then at on some levels, I'll just be sending them the book too. So
very cool.
Yeah.
You got a lot of irons in the fire, man.
Always, man. And, I was a preschool teacher for like 18 years. Like I've lived like 75 lives. I was a musician. I owned an animation studio. I was a preschool teacher for like the longest period, probably. But I started getting headhunted to take over the music program for LAUSD, like the Los Angeles School District. And I didn't want to do that. I had just turned 40, and that was 8 years ago now. It's just crazy. And my wife was like, if you don't do it now, you're not going to do it. You just
well, you and I are from the same generation.
Yeah.
Also 48. Yeah.
So it was like we were both preschool teachers living in Los Angeles. So you can imagine, money was tight anyway. Mm-hmm. So making the leap, I had to figure out how to make money as an artist real fast. So irons in the fire, yes, always.
For sure. Hey, yeah. Mark, I'm 70. I'm a 77 model.
Yeah,
So
yeah, here too.
78 represent.
Yep, I'm a 77 model. Yep.
Awesome.
Do you have anything that you wanted to shout out in terms of like new releases that might be coming out through Power Pulp, or anything just in general that you wanted to give a shout out for people to look up?
As far as I'm concerned, or as far as not as far as that sounds wrong. Personally, the next thing that I'll have coming out through Power Pulp will be the first issue of Something Seems Off once it's crowdfunded, and I'm hoping what's going to happen with that is I will make enough from the first issue to pay for the second issue, which will pay for the third issue. You know, so I hope that I'm trying to get. Really, what I'm trying to do right now is like build enough pressure of anticipation for this book and for Three-Headed Pigman to where when I finally am able to release them, the machine's just going, and I can and you know, fans are buying the book as fast as I can put them out, paying for the next print run and also my, you know, mortgage or whatever, you know, at the same time. So you know, that's the ultimate goal for me. So the next thing that I will have out from at Power Pulp will be Something Seems Off, and then Three-Headed Pigman.
Awesome, man. Well, this has been really fun, Chris.
Oh, and this Wednesday also, like tomorrow, go grab actually, I think tomorrow I have 2 books coming out. I think issue 9 of American Caper is out, and issue 2 of Dread the Hall H is also out tomorrow. So you can grab those. And don't snooze on the books that I have on Power Pulp right now, like Chaotic Neutral, which is the D&D that your Satanic Panic fearing grandma thought that you were playing. It also has a D&D module in the back of it, so that book's awesome. The Masters of the Universe books actually are not on Power Pulp. Those are on my website for a donation.
Got a QR code here.
Of $10 because I don't want to get in trouble. So it's a donation, and you know, if I do more of them and you're on my Patreon, I'll send them to you as a gift.
There you go.
Yeah.
The workarounds to avoid that cease and desist letter.
Cease and desist what? They're gifts.
Yeah, exactly. Gifts.
Yeah, it's a gift.
Awesome, man. Well, Sam, do you got anything more for Chris before we wrap things up tonight?
Just keep making comics, man. They're badass. That's
I don't know what else to do, so I will do
same.
That.
So
yeah, I get really like melancholy if I don't draw for a day. It's not good. My wife's always trying to get me to like just take a break today, just relax. I'm like, no, I get depressed.
That is how.
Not because relax. I'm like, you know, the demons come or anything. It's just like I know that I have so much more I want to do. I'd rather do that.
That's right. We only got so many more years left on the planet, and we only got so much time to make comics. It's like Jack Kirby made how many comics? We got to catch up.
Yeah, no kidding. I got started late, so I got to do double time.
Yeah, and I can't speak for Chris, but he might agree on this, Sam. Like you're just a young man, but I feel like when you get in Chris and my age bracket, like you start feeling like everything's speeding up so much and you don't have much time left to do all the things you want to do. So it's like constantly like I gotta hammer stuff out each day. You know, I don't want to be left with this stuff still inside me. I want to get it all out into the world.
Yeah, there's definitely that too. But I think the thing that actually does come, which I wish came sooner, was being more considerate with the projects that you pick just in general.
Right.
Because once you get to a certain point, there's only you realize there's only a certain number of books you're going to get to do in your life. It's not, we're talking like we're 100 or something.
I know.
Right? We got time. There is the realization that you get to where it's like, you know, don't take projects that you aren't into and don't want to do, because it's going to be a year of your life, you know. And other people have said this before, but you never want to listen. But listen.
Very true. Very true. Well, Chris, this has been an absolute blast, man. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with us tonight.
Oh,
we know
man.
as we know now, you're a very busy man.
I try to be. If I'm not busy, I'll make myself busy.
All right. Well, Dan Goodwin says, take care, everyone. Dan, thanks for everybody being in the chat, hanging out with us tonight. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Chris.
Got it. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And thanks to everybody who chimed in, and thanks to
Pleasure.
everybody who will watch it in the future.
Yes, sir. Well, until next week, guys, take care.
Bye-bye.